It has been a few weeks since we last checked in on the construction progress happening at Orlando's newest theme park, Universal Epic Universe. In these last few weeks, several new details have been installed throughout the park, which includes the Pegasus being installed on top of Constellation Carousel, the statue at Luna Overlook appearing for the first time, and the final scene of Yoshi's Adventure exploding with new theming, including a new character appearance. All of this and more on this week's Universal Epic Universe construction update, with our aerial views provided to us as always by BioReconstruct. Starting off this week's update just south of Epic Universe, once again at Stella Nova and Terra Luna resorts. The exterior tiles at Terra Luna have been completed, as work now begins on the first two floors to paint the facade gray, identical to Stella Nova. One thing that I just noticed on this flight is that the pool areas between these two resorts are significantly different in size. This is due to the position of the pool area relative to the side of the hotel. The pool area at Terra Luna is noticeably smaller than next door at Stella Nova. The pool area at Stella Nova has seen new multicolored concrete being poured inside around the pool. For guests who visit Epic Universe but are not staying at these two resorts, they will park in the main parking lot where the toll plaza has seen the majority of the framing completed. The landscaping between the parking lots and the entrance to the park continues to be added to as the walkways are nearing completion. Walkways around the security plaza and ticketing windows continues to progress, while the water features on either side of the Kronos Tower are preparing to be painted. The feature to the right side of the Kronos Tower, near the entrance to the suspected VIP area, has been painted in primer, which is why it is bright white. Just inside of Celestial Park, guests are met by Luna Overlook, where a large statue will be located. This statue can be seen started to be installed, where the lower half is now staged nearby. This statue can be seen in the renderings as well as the model in the Epic Universe Preview Center. This statue will look as though it is jumping into the cascading waterfalls at the top of Celestial Park, where the majority of the rockwork inside of these waterfalls is completed. The rockwork closest to Luna Overlook is all that remains to be sculpted. All of these rock formations still need to be painted. At the base of these waterfalls is the collection pool, where Atlantic Restaurant is located, where the entrance overhang has started to be formed. On the other side of Celestial Park sits the Phase 2 restaurants, where the initial roofing has begun above the kitchen areas of these quick service dining locations. On the other side of the How to Train Your Dragon portal sits Stardust Racers, where the entrance signage can be seen starting to be installed. This signage looks to have the same look as the main comet theming found at the front of the coaster building. The entrance tunnel to the coaster has been painted green, as well as appears to have some theming beginning to be installed. Behind the coaster building, in the extended queue area, we can see bricks being laid along the walls of the crossover of the service road which splits the queue. Thanks to the model at the Preview Center, we can now start to get a better idea of how this queue area will look once completed. A lot of the work that has happened since last update surrounds Constellation Carousel and the middle water feature. Along the edge of the water feature, there looks to be some sort of design taking shape along the dense foam walls that lines the water feature. At the base of the carousel, the rockwork which starts at the edge of the water feature has been painted. Located at the entrance to Constellation Carousel, the entrance sign tower has been installed, which has been staged on the ground for the last several updates. Inside of the main dome of the carousel, the ride platform is completely enclosed in plastic as the installation of vehicles and mechanics continues. High above the carousel, the Golden Pegasus has been installed on the spire above the rotunda of the carousel. At the base of the clouds of the rotunda, we can see removable windows on hinges as some of them are currently open. Just outside of the exit to the carousel, the colorful concrete courtyard is making large steps towards completion. A little farther up the walkway, we run into Celeste's Tiki Bar, where several new trees have been planted which are hiding the majority of the structure. The main show fountain sits just beyond Celeste's Tiki Bar, where we can see workers in the viewing area, which gives us a great idea of the scale of this area. On the other side of the main show fountain sits Meteor Astropub, where there is a large new excavation site near the entrance to this location. Also, there is a lot of ribbon concrete curbing taking shape around the right side of the seating area. Overlooking this area of Celestial Park is the on-site resort of Helios Grand Hotel, where just the other day we saw firework testing taking place. Looking closely, we can see the tracks of vehicles that were used while this testing was taking place on the peninsula inside of the pond behind the hotel. Since last update, the last large tower crane on the Epic Universe property has been removed, which was located near the parking garage for the hotel. Inside of the pool area of the Helios Grand, cabana framing has started on the concrete pads that were recently poured. High above the hotel on the roof, the bronze roofing continues to be installed on the main dome, as well as above the ballroom. Just last week, Universal released the details for the last of the 5 lands, being the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. One interesting fact that came out of this release of information was that the shortest building inside of the streets of Paris is actually taller than the tallest building in Dragon Alley at Universal Studios Florida. Just outside of the portal to the land, the ribbon concrete walls behind Meteor Astropub continues to take shape, as well as what looks like a new tree planter has been poured. Blue roofing has also been installed on top of the kiosk near the entry portal as well. Inside of the streets, there are several small details that we can see throughout the land that may not be so obvious. On the rooftops, there are several shutters that are being painted. Along some of the ledges of the buildings, wrought iron railings are being installed. Found at street level of the land's tallest building will be the wand shop of this new land. The red tent tops found outside of the theater show are likely just the beginning layers of the tents, as more decorative tops should be installed soon. Near the entrance to the feature ride of the land, more scaffolding has been removed around the facade of this building. Personally, out of all the information that was released by Universal for each of the lands, the information for the Wizarding World was the most underwhelming of them all. Hopefully this was just for the introduction and not a true representation of the land itself. Sitting on the other side of Celestial Park sits the land based off of Universal Monsters' Dark Universe. Normally, Dark Universe always has something interesting to offer during these construction updates. However, this update there is not a lot going on, which just means we are getting closer to its completion. There are still a few changes to note though, which includes much of the scaffolding on the sides of Frankenstein's Manor has been removed, revealing the recently installed details. A lot of the coverings of the walkways in the back of the land have been removed, giving us our first view of how this land will look upon completion. Near the back of the village of Darkmoor, near the restrooms, several workers can be seen working on sculpting and painting on the village facade. In front of the entry portal to the land, more scaffolding has been installed as sculpting of the tree roots around the portal plate are beginning. The kiosk near the entry portal of Dark Universe has also had blue roofing installed that matches the kiosk in front of the Wizarding World. This would lead me to believe that the remaining kiosks of the same shape all around Celestial Park will have the same blue roofing found on these 2 kiosks. Next door to Dark Universe sits Super Nintendo World, where there is a lot more visual progress made since last update. All around the Mushroom Kingdom, several new moving themed elements have been installed, including toad heads, turtle shells, coins, and Goombas. At Bowser's Fortress, the mounting points for the Bowser head can be seen above the entrance to the Mario Kart ride. On either side of the entrance, at the base of the two turrets, we can see the claws of Bowser starting to take shape. On the side of the stairs, near Bowser's Fortress, leading guests down to the lower level of the land, wood texture is being added to these stairs. Concrete curbing is being formed near the entrance to Toadstool Cafe, which will likely be a small garden once complete. The entrance to Yoshi's Adventure has seen a lot of scaffolding added to reach the top level of the ride. This update, the final scene of the ride, is almost unrecognizable. The theming that has been installed is unbelievable, and we have a new character sighting as well inside of this scene. Toad has now made an appearance as an explorer while hiding in the recently installed trees. Behind the Mushroom Kingdom, inside of Donkey Kong Country, there are also several changes to go over. The shell of the crashed plane, which is the home of Funky's Flying By gift shop, is nearly complete. Near one of the hairpins, just outside of the coaster building, a new themed statue has been installed before guests jumped over a spike pit. Later on down the tracks, another larger screaming pillar has been installed just before the final brake run. To the side of the main lift hill inside of the coaster building, we can see some very interesting theming, as well as where the track twists, making the minecart sideways. On the ground below, near the entrance to Minecart Madness, new triangular shades have been installed above the outdoor queue for the coaster. We can see several of these spiked columns along this area, making their way all the way down the tracks. So in the coming weeks, we will see more of these shades installed. Inside of the basin of the waterfall, which doubles as the splash portion of the coaster, themed rock sculpting is taking place in preparation for paint and water falling from the character head for the first time. The initial framing for the character meet and greet kiosk appears to be nearly complete, as rockwork can be seen starting to be sculpted at the base of this structure. Flying over to the Land of Dragons, of How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Burk, we're just outside of the entry portal to the land. New trees have been planted inside of the concrete foundation. On the back side of the portal, new rockwork can be seen starting to be sculpted as well. To the left of the main lagoon sits Viking Training Camp, where several new detailed pieces of framing have been installed, as well as new themed structure has started to be erected near the bathrooms in this part of the land. Behind the second launch of Hiccup's winged gliders, we can see several logs staged on the ground yet to be installed inside of Viking Training Camp. To top things off, several trees have been planted inside of Viking Training Camp, as well as along the main lagoon near the tracks of Hiccup's winged gliders. Just beyond Viking Training Camp, on our way to the next ride, several new concrete forms are being worked on in front of Grog and Gruul. As we make our way to Dragon Racer's Rally, a sheep has been added on top of the entrance at the bottom of the slingshot. Inside of the queue area, tent framing has started to go vertical for the ride's queue. We can see several of these bases where the supports will continue towards the entrance to the ride. Inside of the village, the Viking statues that guard the entrance to Mead Hall have been surrounded in scaffolding once again as painting is beginning. The statues in front of Hiccup's wing glider have also been sculpted. Another dragon has been spotted above the entrance to the coaster, as well hiding in the scaffolding. Inside of the queue for Hiccup's wing gliders, the pathway for the queue have started, as we can see where workers are starting to prepare the next pour. In the opposite corner of the land is the Untrainable Dragon Theater Show, where theming work on the entrance continues. We can now see vertical boards installed on the building, which will later become wood beams. Behind the theater building sits a large concrete pad, which was long rumored to be an airfield for dragon drones. We have not seen any evidence of this until recently, where a video posted on social media shows something flying, flapping its wings above the Epic Universe property. A large tent has been installed near this concrete pad. Could some dragons be hiding underneath of it? My guess is probably not, but hopefully soon we will see some more footage of these creatures taking flight. Making our way back into Burke, concrete pathways are starting to branch out from the bridge that spans the service canal of Fire Drill, where a number of new details have been installed this update. Throughout the entire ride path, we can now see circular targets on the side of several of the larger cutouts. Some of these targets are blue and some are red. Not sure what the difference is, so more to come on that. Later on in the path, a new themed ship has been installed as a target for the ride. Lastly, the load station roof is starting to see its final roofing taking place. Now that all 5 lands of Epic Universe has had its official release of information, on top of the Epic Universe Preview Center being open, this leaves only the official opening of the newest theme park to be released. Hopefully, soon we will get some sort of official news from Universal, which will indicate an opening for the park, as well as what it may cost us to get in. But with that wraps up this week's Universal Epic Universe Construction Update. A big thanks to BioReconstruct as always for the continued coverage of Epic Universe. Be sure to subscribe so do not miss the next construction update. And until next time, travelers, have a great one.